Abraham Lincoln wasn't always the wise and diplomatic leader we remember today. As a young man, he had a sharp tongue and a habit of criticizing others. He believed that pointing out people's flaws and mistakes was a way to prove his intelligence and wit. One day, he wrote an anonymous letter mocking a local politician and published it in a newspaper. The letter was harsh, filled with insults, and intended to humiliate the man in front of the entire town. Lincoln thought it was harmless fun until he realized how powerful words could be. The man who was insulted, James Shields, was furious when he discovered who had written the letter. He was so enraged that he challenged Lincoln to a duel, a fight to the death with swords. At first, Lincoln thought it was a joke, but Shields was serious, and the challenge was not something that could be ignored. In those days, duels were a matter of honor, and refusing one could destroy a man's reputation. Lincoln, realizing the gravity of the situation, had no choice but to accept. He was given the right to choose the weapons, and being much taller than Shields, he selected long cavalry swords. On the day of the duel, Lincoln stood with his weapon in hand, ready to fight. But as he looked at Shields, something struck him. Was this really worth it? Was proving a point more important than a man's life? Just before the duel began, mutual friends stepped in and managed to calm the situation. The duel was called off, but the incident left a deep mark on Lincoln. He realized that his words had nearly led to a tragedy. From that day on, he vowed to never criticize or humiliate anyone again. Years later, as President of the United States, Lincoln became famous for his ability to bring people together. Even when he was surrounded by political enemies, he never spoke ill of them. Instead of attacking others, he listened, understood their concerns, and found common ground. One of his most famous moments was during the Civil War when a colleague criticized the Southern leaders, calling them traitors who deserved no mercy. Lincoln responded with kindness, "Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?" That was the essence of his wisdom. He understood that criticism and hostility only create more enemies, but empathy and understanding create influence. Lincoln learned the hard way that criticism and insults only lead to resentment and conflict. Instead of tearing people down, he built them up. And in doing so, he became one of the most respected leaders in history. So the next time you're about to criticize someone, ask yourself, will my words help or harm? Influence comes not from tearing others down, but from lifting them up.